Ladies and gentlemen, so I am proper impressed today, lads, because instead of, being like 20 minutes before the brand new event, or a couple of hours late if you're on an Android device, the brand new update 22.0 with the Gamora buffs, the Spider-Gwen buffs, the She-Hulk buffs actually went live, and it went live 17 hours early. So, I gotta take my hat off, massive round of applause. Those Kabam boys have finally pulled it out for once and actually got the update at a really good time. But unfortunately, when it went live, man, it was like 2 a.m. in England, so I'm a little bit late to the party. However, I've been working really hard the last couple of hours to put together some awesome Gamora gameplay. I've dipped into a little bit of Variant, Realm of Legends, got some really cool fights for you today to test out kind of Gamora to her full potential as a maxed out 4-star champion. And she's crazy. The buff to Gamora is absolutely insane in any scenario where you can just fire off heavy attacks to refresh the buffs, because they just keep on stacking and stacking and stacking. And I really decided to kind of put that to the test against Realm of Legends Wolverine to see if the 4-star could generate enough damage output to out-damage Wolverine. And the answer is yes, Gamora's got like a crazy amount of potentially infinite damage output on the provision that you can weave in those heavy attacks. And that's quite an important one. However, I think there are going to be some people, very much like Hyperion and Hela, and also Captain America Infinity War, if you play a champion like Gamora or a character that relies on heavy attacks, you're gonna try and find a lot more opportunities in character animations and timings, and we'll showcase some of these toward the end of the video, where you can actually very cheekily throw a heavy attack, like to retaliate against certain special attacks and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So yeah, I really like the update to the Gamora, and you can see this like 160k Deadpool that we're absolutely rinsing with masochism regeneration, 81 hits, and that's at a variant level enemy, 40,000 power index there. Just absolutely smoked, man. That was some pretty light work, and masochism, is a bit of an annoying node for Gamora to deal with. However, I went for another variant fight. We went for the final chapter Vision, which has Pilfer and Fisticuffs, and this Vision has in terms of health, about 160,000 there, and you can see he's got about 40,000 power index. Now, for the first 10 seconds, we cannot activate any buffs, and also in this matchup as well, there's the Pilfer node, so whenever we gain a buff, there's a 20% chance for it to instantly be nullified, and Vision gain 20% power. So there is a little bit of a weird point in this fight, man, where we just keep on gaining buffs, but they just keep on being nullified, and they feed Vision so much, so it's a little bit crazy. But you can see, even like 24 hits into the fight, man, that was a very nasty special too. We got almost just over 15,000 damage there, and also the 28-second armor break with Gamora's awakened ability. So having this mega armor break is a very nice bonus, and it just combines with everything. You've got the Fury, you've got the increased crit damage, so yeah, all of it kind of weaves together just to give Gamora such a phenomenal amount of potential damage output there. But I guess one of the ways to think about Gamora is kind of like Star-Lord, or maybe like Anti-Corvus, the complete opposite. You start the fight, you're not going to have too much damage off the bat, but the deeper you go into the fight, and providing you can keep on refreshing those buffs, you're going to have some really nice damage output. So you can see we're playing a little bit on the ropes here against Vision. He's back to a special one already, man. That Pilfer node is just working overtime now, but we've got him into Assassin's range, fire off a special 2, and we get the 160k Vision down in 72 hits, and that wasn't a bad kill by any standards. Some very nice work from Gamora there. However, it's time to go into Realm of Legends. Now for this one, I'm using a slightly different synergy. I've got Black Panther Civil War instead of an additional Black Bolt, and I've only got this one for this fight in particular because this fight was just so good and so incredibly fast, and this synergy is a little bit better if you do want a bit more damage output. However, with Gamora, she benefits so much from having as many Black Bolts on the team as possible to increase the duration of her cruelty and also Fury buffs. So if you really want to make playing Gamora an easy time and have, the potential to kind of ramp up without having to sweat too much, then you do want like Gamora, Ronan, and triple Black Bolt on the team, and that's going to make the champion much easier to play. Because if you don't have that, then you've got like minus 75% comparatively on your buff duration, and it means you're going to have to sweat a fair bit, because at the start of the fight, your Fury and Cruelties are going to last 9 seconds, and then they kind of ramp up to, I believe it's 14.4 seconds max, whereas if, you know, you have all of those, it kind of brings it to like 20-something seconds, so you've got a lot more time to kind of build up the buffs, and you don't need to worry too much about kind of refreshing them as much with the heavy attacks there. So yeah, that synergy is really, really good if you're looking to make the most out of Gamora, because she's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's also a little bit interesting how her Furies work as well, because every 5 seconds the duration of brand new Furies that you get and Cruelty buffs as well increases by 5% for the first 60 seconds of the fight. So basically, once you're 60 seconds in, it's just much easier to keep up those buffs, and it kind of does scale up with the Cosmic Supremacy as well. And taking this champion through Realm of Legends and a fair few fights, I've kind of found that a lot of the buffs that you get in the first 30 seconds don't sweat too much kind of like deeper into the fight about them dropping off, because they're going to have a much shorter duration than the ones that you get like a minute into the fight as well. So just something to kind of keep in mind with Gamora, like the longer the fight, the easier she is to play. So yeah, that's also something that she's got going for her, but I think Kabam have done like a really, really good job, like entirely credit where credit is due, and making a very, very solid ramp-up champion and turning a complete dud into an absolute powerhouse as well. So here we're going to fire off a very, very nice special 2, manages to combine the damage for just over 35,000 there, and we've also got the armor break as well, which is really, really nice, because that's minus 2,000 armor for 28 seconds as well, which allows us to go into kind of a nice assassin's range here. We get the refresh on the buffs. We've got 11 Furies and 16 stacks of Cruelty. We go into assassins now, going to fire off a special 2. We got, what was it, 62,000 damage there off a 4-star man, a couple of minutes into the fight. Not too bad, lads, not too bad at all. I'd say that's what I call a pretty good time. So the total on Winter Soldier of that Zerg team was 144, but now I want to showcase the main event. Now, when it comes to Realm Legends Wolverine, so far, I've actually, like, in this kill, dealt about 150 hits. I've got past 60 seconds, so I've got the full duration. So now it's a case of kind of building up, like, the mega buffs. So that's kind of the point of the fight where I'm at, where I've kind of let all the very short ones drop off, just to give you a bit of a heads up. I'll show kind of the final hit count at the end as well. So yeah, I'm just looking to generate as many Furies, as many Cruelties, so that I can actually out-damage Wolverine's regeneration. And you can see it like 11 stacks of Fury and 8 stacks of Cruelty. We're not really making too much of a dent in Realm of Legends Wolverine. He's a big damage check for any champion that wishes to take him on without a heal block mechanic there. And we do actually mess up and get a little bit clipped there as well. So super fun times, man. My gameplay wasn't on the biggest point at that point in time. However, we're making a big comeback now. We're getting in there. We need to play very aggressively to not only try and generate as much Fury and Cruelty as possible to keep on ramping up that damage, but also we need to weave in those heavy attacks to make sure we refresh them. But you can see with the Cosmic Supremacy synergy, and here I've got 3 Black Bolts in the team, like we've got a fair amount of time on both the Fury and Cruelty. So we've got time, if we're playing very, very aggressively for like 3 combos and then a heavy attack, but with baiting out the special attacks as well, I'm trying to play it fairly safe here as well, and maybe do 1 combo, sometimes 2 combos before we throw out a special attack. But when I'm like this deep in the fight and I've got like this many stacks of Fury and Cruelty, like the last thing you want to do is lose them. So I'm playing, quite conservatively here. Every single time I get a parry opportunity, I'm trying to fire off the heavy attacks as well, and doing kind of a medium heavy, because you have time to do that in the stun as well. So an additional little pro tip if you're not super familiar with Captain America Infinity War, because that's how I play Cap as well. So playing Cap Infinity War, it's made me a little bit of a better Gamora player. But here, the Fury, the Cruelty's going down. We've just about managed to get that refresh, so it's a bloody good time. We're starting to make some decent dents in Wolverine at this point with 18 stacks of Fury and 20 stacks of Cruelty. But you can see, man, once he's got a couple of stacks of regeneration, he just shoots back up so quickly, because he's healing for about, 16,000, 17,000 every single second. So yeah, it's just an absolute battle here, just to keep on ramping up that damage. But you can see we're getting like 17k mediums, 11k basics as well. So that's a pretty fun time. We've almost beat him down to 50% here. We go in for a very, very nice special 2. 2, getting him down, man, slicing away, 127 hits on the current combo meter, 23 Furies and 24 stacks of Cruelty. We've got Godslayer ready, we go in for kind of a final shortened combo here, slap that down, 50k finish on the special one. So yeah, not too bad. 4-star Gamora powers through Realm of Legends Wolverine in a total of 314 hits, and even if you didn't have Gamora awakened, you'd still be able to do that. It would take a little bit longer because you wouldn't have the increased duration on the armor break, which was helping mitigate healing a little bit with the spare there. But yeah, that's kind of around the hits that you'd probably expect with a 4-star Gamora, which is pretty good, man. That's kind of like 4-star maxed out Star-Lord level, maybe even a little bit more in terms of the damage output potential there. And also I did let, you know, a few of the early Fury and Cruelty stacks drop off on that fight just because I didn't want to have to sweat about those too much, kind of going deep into the fight there. But next up we have Rhino, and this is where I found kind of a very cool little timing with a heavy attack. Like right after he uses his special 2, you can like dash back and just get in the right position so that it doesn't hit you, and you can immediately retaliate with a heavy attack. So I found this interaction super fun, and if you do want to play Gamora and kind of like main this character as a 6-star and take her to various stuff, these are the kind of like tips and tricks and intervals that you're going to need to find in so many different fights. So definitely good luck with that, because again, she is so incredibly reliant on those heavy attacks. And there are going to be scenarios like stun immunity and like heavy limber, and certain matchups where you kind of can't find like a special point in terms of the champion's animations to throw heavy attacks that aren't going to render for Gamora like very good and very effective, but she is going to have her scenarios where she's going to be an absolute powerhouse and an incredibly effective option to bring. But also in terms of her utility, her special 3 kind of sucks. I tested it out a little bit earlier today. Like, the shock damage really wasn't like that much. And yeah, the true strike after has such a short duration as well. So I would say kind of the only like 2 super big things that Gamora has going for her, in like all honesty, and this is just my opinion, is just the massive damage and also the armor break as well. I think the Nebula synergy with the robot's ability accuracy reduction, you need 10 stacks of Cruelty for it to ramp up, and that's going to be bloody difficult to get on all of the fights that, you know, I can think of off the top of my head where it's actually going to be useful and take, you know, far too long, so you're just better off bringing other champions. But that armor break, man, is very effective. You can see, like, once we get into a fight, it pretty much has 100% uptime, so yeah, it's really good. Going to be very good for fighting Killmongers, also Emma Frost as well, just to kind of get rid of that diamond form, ease the fight up a little bit. But I think there's going to be a few good scenarios where that armor break does become a very good mechanic. But aside from that, like, Gamora is just a simple, like, damage powerhouse, man, providing you can, you know, weave in heavy attacks to your combat rotation there. Let me know your thoughts on the buffed Gamora in the comments section below. Apart from that, if you did enjoy the video, feel free to smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.